Did you know that it's nearly impossible to plant a fruit tree by seed and get fruit off of it without a process called grafting? Grafting can be a difficult thing to do unless you have the right tools. I'm going to show you what you need. Then let's graft an avocado tree so you can grow your own big tasty avocados. We'll also discover how to grow plants from leaves. So join me, Nick Federoff, today on Things Green. Agriculture is fascinating. It never ceases to amaze me. For instance, imagine growing a potato and a tomato from the same plant. Now that might sound like it's coming from some sort of sci-fi movie or something like that, but it's not. The technique used has been around for eons, and the best part is that there's no genetic modification. They call the whole process grafting. Who doesn't love a good avocado, especially when it comes in the form of guacamole? But before it could even become guacamole, we have to have an avocado tree. And it's got to grow avocados on there. And the way that we do this, we take an avocado, cut it open and expose that seed that's inside, also known as a pit. Then we'll take and we'll skewer it with some toothpicks like this, set half of it in water and watch it root and start to grow. And in a few months, you'll pot it up inside a 1 gallon size container. And you could tell right here that our avocado is doing really good because here's the pit and it's growing through. So where are the avocados? Well, they're nowhere to be found because they're not going to grow from a pit like this. We have to do a process that is called grafting. Oh, there's that word again, grafting. But how does this all come together? Well, the first thing that we have to understand, we need to have a very strong root stock. That's what we have right here. This is the root stock, the base, the foundation for our avocado tree. But how do we get the fruit? It's really simple. You need to find an avocado tree that is bearing avocados that you like. Then you get yourself a branch off of that tree, which we call a scion. Now this scion is going to be grafted right onto this whole rootstock. Now remember, the branch that comes off of the tree that had an avocado on it is called the scion. Where it grows from the pit, that's called the rootstock. Let me show you how this whole thing is done. Imagine if you were a carpenter and you were cutting wood with a monkey wrench from a plumber. Yeah, that's just not going to happen, is it? Well, you have to have the right tool for the right job. And grafting has specialty tools. You can find them at your local nursery and garden center. And you can start off really simple. I want to share this with you. This right here is a pair of hand pruners or secateurs. And though it may seem like a great idea to make cuttings from this for your grafting, here is the problem. Cuts really clean on one side. The other side will actually crush the underside of the branch, therefore rendering it useless in the world of grafting. What you want to use, however, is a knife that's designed for grafting. So I don't want you to go to your kitchen and pull out a butcher knife. That's the wrong thing to do. A grafting knife is a specialized tool. This one right here is a German-made knife that will run you around $100. Now these grafting knives are extremely sharp. You have to be careful. If you're going to be doing a lot of grafting, invest in it. Something that's a little bit more economical would be this folding grafting knife. Has the same design of that professional knife, however, the blade isn't as strong. You can still get dozens and dozens of grafts off of this without having to sharpen the blade. It's just only $15. Really nice on the pocketbook. Tree tie makes a really good tape to use on your grafts because we're going to have to protect the graft after we've put it all together. Tree tie, the only problem with it is that it has a tendency to bind and it doesn't grow with the tree. See, sometimes you have to cut it off and reapply it. Something that works a whole lot better is this biodegradable tape. This way, once you have your graft wrapped, then sunlight, heat, and moisture will slowly break it down, as will the growth of the tree that we've grafted. Grafting wax is something that's necessary to keep moisture within that graft. So we're going to use this today in our grafting demonstration. Now here's something that's actually kind of cool. Parafilm tape is really a good tape to use because this is a combination of this biodegradable-like tape. It's got some properties of this tree tie, and it also has properties of this grafting wax because it has wax in it already. And you can see how it's just really elastic. Now this will also break down with sunlight, heat, and moisture. You wouldn't need this, nor would you need this. Make sure that you have some rubbing alcohol on hand to sanitize your tools and your workspace because you don't want to spread any bacteria from your rootstock to your Scion. I created this fancy little safety tool, and I'll show you a little bit later how to use it. And finally, you want to be certain that you have a marker on hand. You're not going to believe how important it is in the world of grafting. You can buy all this stuff separately, or what you can do is get it in one complete grafting kit. I mean, you're gonna have your knife, your grafting wax, you'll have the tape inside of it. You'll even have a little guide over here that'll show you how to make grafts. Not only the one that we're gonna show you, but other ones as well. Tell you what, let's grab our grafting knife over here and get us some Scion. Now this is an avocado tree. Grandma Federoff had this right when she planted it 75 years ago. We're gonna need to find some Scion wood. Now remember, Scion wood is nothing more than wood that is about a year old or so, and it's the fruiting tree that you need to take the Scion from. If you've never seen any fruit on an avocado tree, don't use that tree. So it's pretty simple here. We'll just find a couple of branches, and here's one right here. Well, cut this off. Now what we got to do is we have to prepare this. Remove all of the leaves because they're just going to take energy away from the Scion once we have that graft on here. Now keep in mind, you have to remember the direction that these leaves are growing in. That's critical, and that's where this marker comes in play. Make sure that we make an arrow just like this on our Scion to show that this is the direction that the Scion has to sit once it's on its graft. Ideally, what you want to do is graft this right away. If you can't do that, it's not the end of the world. Get a resealable plastic bag, put it inside with a wet towel, and keep it in a dark area so that it stays moist within a couple of days. Then you can take and you can start grafting away. We're here in a fancy schmancy greenhouse with all the fans and everything going on. But you gotta remember, you can graft right on your kitchen table. Once we get finished with this whole process, it's gonna look like this. We're gonna create a cleft graft. And this cleft graft is going to end up creating and growing this tree that's going to give us beautiful avocados on it. You're going to have the rootstock that we grew from seed, and in order to make this a little bit more manageable to work with, we're going to cut this right about right here. Okay, now our second cut needs to be a little bit more strategic. We don't want to cut it way at the bottom of the soil line over here, and there's two reasons for that. Number one, it's just too hard to work with when you're working and grafting down here. And number two, when you water, there's going to be bacteria that's going to splash up on the graft, and that right there can create disease, and we want a disease-free plant. So what we'll do is cut it right about right here. There we go. Okay, now I just showed you a big mistake. The mistake was that I took the branch of this stalk and I just threw it on the table. You want to make sure that when you're cutting your rootstock branches that you take them and you get them out of the way. Throw them away so they don't get mixed up with the fruiting branches or the Scion. Now what we want to do is make our cleft cut. So what we did is that we took a little board like this and we drilled a hole in there. We'll just take it and slip it right over like this. So now I could make my cut be a little sloppy if I want and know that I'm going to end up with the same amount of fingers that I started off with. Just cut it right in the center. We go about our ½ inch. It's just that simple. Now what we want to do is we want to take our fruiting branches, which are also called what? That's right, Scions. And we want to size them up to our rootstock that we have here. Now, this one right here is just slightly bigger, so we're not going to use it. This one right here is really tiny. Hey, but we can use it. So really, anything that's smaller than this is okay to use. But if you have a Scion that's an exact match, your graft has a greater chance of taking hold. We'll take it about right here. Now watch this. And then we flip it over and we want to go another 30% angle. Now you see how it's made a nice V like this? Oh, that's a beautiful. So what I want to do though is I want to take and I want to cut this straight because this is kind of like real strangly looking. There we go, nice and straight there. Now, I want you to take a real close look over here. We've got different layers. Now this outside layer, that's called the bark. Just inside is something that's called the phloem. And the phloem is where the juices rush up and down in between the bark and what is called the cambium layer. Now the cambium layer is the most important thing right here. This is why we choose a Scion that is going to match the same size of this stalk. Because if they don't match up, your graft isn't going to take. So what we're going to do is just simply slide it in between. It doesn't stop here. What we need to do is that we have to protect these wounds that we created, and well, think of it like giving it a Band-Aid of sorts. So what we'll do is get a little bit of this biodegradable tape, and then we're just going to wrap it. And then you don't want to choke it out, but you do want to kind of give it a little pressure. This right here is going to keep it from flopping around. And on top of that, we're going to retain a little bit of moisture. Next, what we want to do is to add some grafting wax, and it's a real simple process by just cutting a little bit out of the wax right here. But we have to kind of warm it up first. Put it in your hands and just really get it nice and pliable. I can feel the friction is starting to get really warm. Is this cool or what? All right, now what we'll do is that we're going to take this and apply it to the whole wound area right here. So what this is going to do is make sure that there's no moisture loss, and then also it's going to make it so that disease can't penetrate through. Our final step is cutting the rest of this off, but we have to be careful how low we cut. We don't want to cut it below our graft, of course, but we do want to make sure that we leave 2 or 3 buds, because that's where the plant's going to start to grow from. So we're just going to take it and cut it directly like this. Make sure that anywhere that you make a cut that you have a little bit of wax on there, because you don't want to invite any other kind of extra disease or anything into there. Once you have all your wounds covered up with grafting wax, you're going to have to take care of this. You're going to put it in a half sun, half shade situation, and never allow the soil to completely dry out, because if you do, this Scion is going to dry out as well. And when your graft successfully takes, in about 3 months, you should have a plant that's going to look quite similar to this. You could see where the Scion was attached right here, and we created this cleft graft. Once your plant starts looking about like this, you can plant it in the ground. And in about 3 years, you're going to have so many avocados, you're just not going to know what to do with all that guacamole. Propagating is replicating and growing one of your favorite plants. You know, when you go to a retail outlet to buy a plant, chances are your plants were started via the propagation process. Here in this commercial nursery, they'll do it on a large scale. They'll stick cuttings into a container like this and slowly watch them build up into larger containers. We don't have to have anything fancy other than a pot and some soil and the plant that we're going to propagate from. Using the leaf propagation method for certain plants, like this ZZ plant, is really easy. Now mind you, not all propagation techniques work with every single plant. What we're going to do with this one is we're going to take this leaf right here, pull it off, But you do want a little bit of the stem off of the leaf off of this particular plant. Now, we have a couple of ways of propagating this. The first way is simply punching a hole, taking and dropping the leaf in, and then keeping the soil moist and then walking away. Available at your local nursery and garden center, you can find something that is called rooting hormone. Now, rooting hormones either come in liquid forms or powder forms. Simply dunk it inside the rooting hormone and see how it kind of sticks. Oh, that's just beautiful. Again, we have our soil poked. We stick it inside, but don't push it any further, because if you push it any further, you'll wipe off the rooting hormone. And then you just take and squish your soil around it so it doesn't fall over. You're gonna see these things starting to grow. Now look at what we did. We pulled this out of a potted plant. Now look at what happened here. This is our original leaf. Isn't this cool? It started to grow the roots. It starts getting these rhizomes and big old bulbous areas, and then it starts growing, and in another several weeks, you've got this plant that's about 8 inches tall, and then a few months after that, you got this beautiful, gorgeous ZZ plant. Continuing the theme with leaf propagation, this begonia plant is really easy to propagate. Now, I'm gonna show you a technique. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but it does work. You're gonna start off with your container filled with soil, then you have to find a leaf someplace and snip it off. Oh, look how pretty that is. Now, instead of taking and burying it like we did before, what we're going to do, we're gonna get ourselves a knife, and we're going to score a couple of these major veins. And by scoring it, we're not cutting all the way through. We're just creating a little wound. So just like this, see that? Just a little tiny wound. And then maybe we'll pick this one right here. Now what we want to do is get ourselves some more of this rooting hormone and just dab it on wherever we had the wound. Just a little bit goes a long way. You flip it over and you make soil contact. Now, I don't want you to just walk away, because you notice how this is flopping up. What we're gonna do is get a rock, and you put a rock on top, and within 6 weeks or so, you're gonna see new growth coming out of wherever we made those little slices and dices. Then we could take and separate them and put them in larger containers. Now this plant right over here can not only be propagated with the leaves, but by the stem itself. Now this one right here you have this jade plant, and let's see here, maybe I want to make what we call a stem cutting off of it. So here we're gonna find ourselves a stem off of the plant, and I think I'm just gonna follow this all the way down to right here. Can you see this right here? All right, we're gonna cut this off. Now what we have to do is we gotta take this and we have to harden it off. We gotta take this, put it in a dark, cool area, and then we have to wait a day or two, because this will have calloused up a little bit. From this particular point, we're gonna take and we're gonna remove all but a couple of the leaves. We're only gonna leave 2 or 3 of them so that we could still have photosynthesis. So we're gonna take and dunk this inside our rooting hormone and then poke a hole into our soil right here. We put it in just far enough so that it doesn't fall over. Keep it nice and moist, and between 3 to 6 months, you should have a plant that's about this size right here. We have a very common spider plant, which is a great house plant, and it does something very fun. It ends up shooting off these shoots, and these are like little tendrils, and right here is where it'll start rooting if it touches the ground. You can really daisy chain one plant to another to another. You'll take this and you'll put it here, connect it with the soil. Then you could take another one, put it in another container, connect it with the soil, and do the same with this. The roots will start to grow, and you'll see new growth coming off of it. Once you see that new growth, you know you've got some roots under that plant. All you'll have to do is come back, snip this off, snip it off here, and snip it off here, and you'll have a plant that is now free from the mother plant.